So open up your heart and lay all your fears and all your doubts aside, and let go of all the hurt you hold inside. You are welcome here, just the way you are. You are wanted here, so open up your heart. Receive the love of all who gathered round. You are worthy of this gift of love right now. You are welcome here, just the way you are. You are wanted here. Open up your heart. Well, who'd have known that who you are is enough? And who'd have known you could be so loved? Well, we knew, and now you know. Yes, we knew, and now you know. You are welcome here, just the way you are. You are wanted here. Open up your heart. You are welcome here, just the way you are. You are wanted here, so open up your heart. You are welcome here, just the way you are. You are wanted here, open up your heart. Let's open up our hearts. Let's open up our hearts. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Unity of Calgary. My name is Anthony. Over here we have Vivian and Chad and Gavin and Bob and Doug of Bob and Doug fame. Um, Man, you guys must have had such a rough life. Like as teenagers, it must have sucked, eh?
We were all stars.
Were you? You and your toots?
Yep.
You and your toots? And your toots and your 2-4s? Okay, so I think we're going to have some lyrics coming up on the screen here. You are welcome to stand, sit, roll around, whatever, however you feel best when you're singing. We're going to do One Great Power. There is just one presence, just one light, shining in the world like a beacon in the night. There's just one power all can share, one great power everywhere. One great power, one great love. He gets the ocean and the skies above. Oh, one great spirit waiting in prayer. One great power everywhere. One great power everywhere. There's just one purpose, just one spark, burning in their souls like a candle in the dark. There's just one chorus all can sing. One great power, let it ring. Oh, one great power, one great love. Big as the ocean and the skies above. One great spirit waiting in prayer. One great power everywhere. There's one ocean and the skies above. One great spirit waiting in prayer. One great power everywhere. There is one great power everywhere. There is one great power everywhere. There is enough love here inside this room to heal my heart of all that it's been through. There is enough love here right where we are. I'll let that love come flowing through my heart. There is enough love here inside this your heart of all that it's been through. There's enough love here right where we are. So let that love come flowing through your heart. There is enough love here inside this room to heal our world of all that it's been through. There's enough love here right where we are. Let's let that love come flowing through our hearts. There's enough love here inside this room to heal our world of all that it's been through. There is enough love here right where we are. Let's let that love come flowing through our hearts. There's enough love here inside this room to heal our world of all that it's been through. There is enough love here right where we are. Let's let that love come flowing through our hearts. Let's let that love come flowing through our hearts. Let's let that love come flowing through our hearts. End of music portion.
we are bringing this love onto the planet. And we so need each and every one of us to be grounded and centered in love, in unity. For that is what we stand for. Taking a deep breath in and returning yourself, your presence, once again to the room. And gently opening your eyes. So as we gather in spiritual community, we have our statement of being, which is why we do that. I invite you to affirm it with me together. We are here as love to celebrate the one power, the one presence in our lives, in this community, and in the universe. And I forgot to check the schedule to see who is reading the daily word today. Do we have the daily word? You'll do it again? Do you have it? All right, Bob's going to go get it. It's amazing what you forget when you've been away. I was sitting there thinking, I know there's something else I need to figure out before I start this morning. Thank you, Lisa. So the Daily Word, of course, is a publication that's been put out by Unity for almost 100 years. And it's a beautiful way to ground yourself into that spiritual space, that true reality space, each and every day. And you can get it online on our website, and you can also sign up for yourself if you want. It's a very minimal charge, and you can have it come to your email each day. Thank you, Lisa.
So today's reading, World Peace. I am a peaceful presence to all. Peace in the world begins with me. I consider it a sacred responsibility to respond to all people and circumstances peacefully. I forgive myself for those moments I am less than peaceful, and quickly return to the peace of God in my heart. I am a living expression of God, just as all people are. My tranquil being inspires peacefulness wherever I go and with everyone I meet. Each day I join like-minded people everywhere in a renewed commitment to be the presence of peace. I give thanks that each of us communicates God's love in our unique ways. Peace and harmony are established in individual families, communities, and among nations throughout the world. Put things in order. Listen to my appeal. Agree with another. Live in peace. And the God of love and peace will be with you. 2 Corinthians 13:11.
Thank you so much, Lisa. And isn't that just perfect? We are the love, we are the peace in the world. Unity of Calgary is part of a worldwide movement, and there are centers all around the world, almost 900, who are bringing the same message of spiritual awakening and we have adopted the worldwide vision, which I invite you to affirm with me. We envision a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. And since I assume everybody who is here has had a spiritual awakening, you know what happens. Things go crazy in our lives, and so perhaps our vision is on its way. I believe it is. How we do that is through our mission. I invite you to affirm with me. We are a welcoming, vibrant, spiritual community that inspires hearts and transforms lives by expressing our divine essence. So if that is a statement that resonates for you, then I am so delighted that you are here with us this morning. Okay, some announcements, some upcoming cool things that are happening. Next Sunday, we have a change in schedule. Unity Canada is having the annual conference, and we have decided to participate. So they have a very special Sunday experience online. So you have a choice. You can sign up on their website, and you can get the Zoom link, and you can log in from your home. Or if you want to do it in spiritual community, we are going to be logging in here and projecting it up on the screen. So anybody, if you don't have Zoom or you don't know how to do it or the technology is too much, or if you just want to attend church in your jammies, that'll be your opportunity next Sunday. Yeah, okay, fair enough. You could do that here too. You could show up in your jammies, and that would be okay. So it will be starting at 10:30. It's all the way across the country, and it just so happens that it is exactly our starting time. And the first half hour from 10:30 to 11 is going to be David Roth will be doing a musical lounge. And then at 10:30 to 11, nope, that's wrong. That's got to be 11:30 to 12. 11 to 12. Yeah, 11 to 12. Okay. Reverend Kelly Isola and Reverend Ogun Holder, two powerhouse unity ministers, are going to be giving us their unity experience. So we're very excited about what they are going to bring and what they're going to share. And all the details will be in the newsletter this week and on the website. So once again, you've got a choice. You can do it at home, or you can come here and gather, and we'll do it together. Today, we have potluck. So if you didn't bring any, I can guarantee you there's going to be tons of food, so we invite you to stick around afterwards to have conversations that matter with people who care as we share food together. And after the potluck, we've got our first book study. Bob Elwood, who is on our spiritual leadership team, is going to be leading our first book study with the book Marianne Williamson's Divine Compensation. And even if you haven't read it yet, or you're maybe not even thinking you're going to read it, everybody's welcome. You don't have to have read the book. We're going to be looking at the first 2 chapters right after. So it'll be a really wonderful discussion, I'm sure. All right, Unity Canada Conference starts next Friday, and Friday night is Martha Creek. And those of you who have been at Unity for a long time know Martha Creek, and I will tell you there is no experience like Martha Creek, whether in person or online. I highly recommend it. She's the Friday night special speaker. The conference goes Friday night, Saturday afternoon, and then we have the Sunday morning experience, and then there's another session on Sunday afternoon. There's still time to register, so you can go to unitycanada.org, and you can register for the conference. The early bird price is over now, but it's even so, it's $100, which isn't very much, so for such a fabulous event. Coffee chats. The coffee chats are continuing in the park. with Shona and whoever shows up, and those will continue until the weather decides that we're not. So if you're unsure if we've hit that, in the newsletter, there's Shona's information, and you can just contact her and just confirm if anyone's going to be there. And I also understand that because of construction, you got to come in the other way. So you can't go the south route anymore. You have to go from the other entrance. All the details are in our newsletter, and so you can always go there and on the website. Bon voyage. This is going to be my last Sunday here for 4 months because I'm being called to go somewhere else, which is a wonderful place to be called. And I'm really surprised that it's hitting me so hard because I'm going to really, really miss all of you here. I'll still be involved. I'll still be on the spiritual leadership team. I'll be joining in on Sundays, but I won't be here in person. So, it's a bon voyage and a see you later, and I'll be back, hopefully the beginning of March. So, it's a bit of a last-minute decision that wasn't exactly planned, but that's how Spirit works, isn't it? So I will keep you up to date on my many adventures, and just a heartfelt thank you to all of you. I wouldn't be the person I am were it not for each and every one of you. So thank you. And how perfect. I just looked at what song you're going to be singing next, Anthony.
What song is that?
We Are Called. So, let me gather myself. And all the different ways that you can find us online, and of course here in person.
You get 2 intros for the price of one. We are called to find the peace within as we wind our way through life. We are called to find the love within as the storms rage on outside. We are called to look within again for the part that does not change. We are called to rise above our fears so our hearts can lead the way. We are called, we We are called to know there is no need to fear what storms may come. We are called to love the life we lead, for our lives have come from love. We are called, we are called, we are called to it all. Every hateful word, every grateful stir, we are called, we are heard. We are called, we are called, we are called to it all. In the place of pain, in the face of fear, we are called to be here. We are called. We are called.
How many years? Like, what, 10, 15? Yeah, a long time. And today she is going to share with us faith or fate. Please help me welcome Pearl Graham.
Thank you, Susan. Greetings and welcome. We've all had those moments of inspiration, intuition, dreams, or a voice that tells us something. And we're called to act on it. At least I am. And I believe that most of the people here have had those experiences, because I've heard many times from Susan about her dreams. We've heard her speak about them. And they're powerful moments in our lives that are life-changing, that calls us forth and to stand up. I'm going to talk first about a dream I had in 1992. And my father-in-law, Joe, came to me in a dream. And we knew that he was not well. He had cancer and that it was terminal. And I was in the dream. I was bent over. I was in my pantry. I was looking for something. And I stood up, and there was Joe and Evelyn, my mother-in-law, in the kitchen. And Joe stretched out his hand and took my hand. And he said, I'm going to cry now. I had to see you before. I had to see you before. And the dream switched to the house next door and with my husband and I. And I was saying, we have to get home. We have to get home. Joe and your mom are there. We have to get home. I woke up and, I thought about the dream. And in the morning, I discussed it with my husband. And we decided to drive to Edmonton that day after work. And so that was Thursday. And we saw Joe that evening, and the kids were so excited to see Grandpa, and he still had the army haircut from when he was in the war. It never changed, and it was short, and it was bristly, and the kids would rub their hands over his head, and he was just such a loving spirit to them. He was a wonderful grandfather. And Logan was on his knee, and Natalie had her arm draped around his shoulders, and Mike and I were there. And then the next day we spent Friday with him all day, and Saturday we had to come back to Calgary and for an event that our son was attending. And it ended up, Joe passed away at 4 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. Those times when you're so grateful, the dream wasn't just for me, it was for my children and their father. And I'm grateful that Spirit was able to get through, because that is what happens, is when you're dreaming, Spirit is getting through to you, and it's giving you the information. And I've had dreams all my life, even as a young teenager, and with knowings. Okay, just bear with me 1 second, because I did rush out of my house this morning. But during my marriage, my husband would joke. He'd say, Pearl, you scare me. and I can understand why, because some of the things that came through. My father was also that kind of individual. He had dreams. And so I grew up hearing about that from my family. And he had a dream that warned him to stay away from a specific intersection. They lived up in northern Saskatchewan. And so he avoided it. And then one day, he decided to take his wagon and team of horses through that intersection. And he was hit by a speeding car that killed one of the horses. And just thinking, it's going to be okay. But it wasn't okay. And that's the thing that comes through. My mother also told me that in 1955, I'm taking us back a long way. My dad was born in 1907. So that my uncle was coming across the field of their homestead. And my mother saw him, and she said to my dad, Bill's coming. I wonder what he wants. And my dad said, Mother died last night. He just knew those things. And this next one, hope I'm not boring you with my dreams, family stories. But I was working in HR for Energy, Mines, and Petroleum. And the BC government was going through a reorganization at the time. And I was in the HR office, and I was sent over to the other ministry as a token of goodwill, to bond the two HR offices together. It wasn't easy because, during times like that, there's a lot of feelings and allegiances people are dealing with, because someone's going to lose their job or be bounced somewhere else. So I had come from an office where I was loved and respected, and I felt safe. And during this time, of course, I was concerned about where I was going to end up, because I had recently been made permanent. And my husband was a student and had my 2 children that I was responsible for. And I knelt down beside the bed by my nightstand, and I just opened up and cried. And I asked Spirit for a job where I could be happy, and there'd be, something interesting, and that I loved, and with good people. Excuse me a minute. I was booked for 2 interviews, and I went to both of those, and I was offered both positions. And one was in a deputy minister's office, which I had been in before. It's very political, so it's not the greatest place. It has some prestige, but it's not that much fun. And it's quite intense. And the other one was with the BC Archives and Information Management. And I was undecided, so I called up a coworker, Susan, and I was telling her about the interview at the BC Archives and Information Management. And I said the manager had interviewed me, and the woman who was my supervisor, but she was pregnant, and she was going to be leaving soon. And Susan said, "What was that dream you had last fall?" And I went, "Oh my God, I'm supposed to take that job." And in the dream, I was at a desk working, and a pregnant woman was standing in the doorway. And I had this distinct feeling that I was acting as a clerk 5, and I was a clerk 3 at the time. So I took that job, and it was quite a experience, because I was just trusting that Spirit was taking me there. That dream told me that. And so I started, and Debbie went on mat leave 2 weeks after I started, and her work all fell on my plate. And she extended her mat leave to 2.5 years. So it was I hit the floor running every day, and there was problems to solve, which I love to do. Let me figure that out. And it was challenging, because I had an IT background, but now it was stepping into something that was much bigger, of going from a radio spectrum link to a municipal area network connection, and working with other people, and changing all the computers had to be replaced, because they were old and they were in a Word 2, and software that had to be recreated, because it just wasn't going to make it through. And so just bear with me 1 second and catch up to where I am. Gosh, I've gone all that way. But I should have said that I did take that job, because that was a big moment in my life, and it actually projected for me 10 years forward. It took me over the next 10 years. And so the learning curve was huge, and it was a massive confidence builder for me. And my manager, Glenn Isaac, he respected and trusted my decisions, which I'm surprised, because I really didn't have the work experience behind me. But I did do things for people. It ended up that because I had made decisions and ordered specific keyboards with mouse pads that were actually separate, the whole ministry was ergonomically done, both sites. And the director had asked Glenn, "Did you approve this?" Glenn just said, "Do what you think's best, Pearl." And so I ordered 9 of them, and the director walked by, and he was like, "Oh, those look good, but how much did they cost?" They were expensive, but they were ordered for 80 people. So everybody got that, and new chairs, so to make sure that they were all comfortable. And these things are important to this psychology of people when they're working. I'm skipping around here. Oh, there's the other page. Okay. In December 1999, I was given recognition for my part in the unfolding and implementation of the Y2K for both those sites. And it was at that time that I was told that I'd be getting an upgrade in my classification to the same classification what my supervisor's was, and that I was going to get back pay for the last 3 years. And so it was retroactive. I was pretty impressed, And then in February of 2020, we received notice that we had to move, that the owner wanted to move back into the house we were living in. So I added up my savings and the 3 years of back pay, and I went to see the bank, and I got approved for a $200,000 mortgage. And my sister's mother-in-law, lent me $5,000 interest-free on top of that, which was pretty impressive. So you can imagine $200,000 doesn't go far in Victoria, BC, because everything's pretty expensive out there. But through it all, I maintained the perfect house for the perfect amount of money is going to come. And I said it daily, numerous times, to anyone and everyone. And I looked at a lot of dumpy places in that price range. But I still maintained that the perfect house for the perfect amount of money was going to come. And my husband tried to talk me into a house that was really had a big rock in the basement, so that was like, holy smokes, and wood rain, like for catching the rain, and I was like, no, I can't see that. So, anyways, on my next flex day, the realtor took me to look at this house. It was only 2 blocks from where we lived, and we lived in a nice area. And I was looking for something that had a mortgage helper, like a suite. So when we got to the house, she went to get the key out of the lockbox, and I walked up the stairs, and I looked over into the flower bed, and there were toonies and loonies and nickels and dimes. I put my head back to laugh, and I heard a voice say, "Chump change." And so I knew. I didn't even have to see the house. I knew. But the realtor came, and she knocked on the door before she opened it, and the tenant came, and she didn't want to let us in. And so she said, "You've already been notified, so we're here now." So we went in. I went into the kitchen, and the kitchen cupboards had latex smeared over the cupboard doors, over this blue turquoise over this white. And there was cupboard doors missing on one side of the counter. And but I liked the room. It was a nice big room with beautiful windows in the corner where the table would sit. And then we went into the bedrooms. And the bedrooms had midnight blue, ink blue ceilings with that yellow of a sunflower, like that orangey yellow, on the walls. And they were south facing, and they were good sized windows. The room was like, wow. And so, but I could see past all of that. They were good sized bedrooms. And the living room hadn't been touched, thank goodness. And it was a beautiful Art Nouveau fireplace that stretched out with black tiling around it. And so we couldn't see the basement suite because the tenant had left. And so we had to come back. So I said to my husband, "This is it." I looked at the roof outside, and all the shingles looked good, and the yard looked pretty good. And so him and I went back that night, and we looked at it, and we went into the suite, and it was filthy and, just terrible, and the rug needed replacing, but also there was a lot of stuff around. But we made the decision that this could be a prize. It had so many good things, beautiful trim around the doors and windows. And so we had done it before, and my husband was very handy. That's a good man. Handy men. And so we put in an offer, and I lowballed the offer to $190,000 because the house had been at $235, dropped down, but it hadn't sold because of this terrible paint job. And then she came back with $199, and I came back with $196, and I bought it for $196,000. And we I'm going to get there. So just before we took possession, the day before, I walked over to see how things were going. And she said, "It's really interesting that your name is Pearl." And I said, "Why?" And she said, "Because those dragons I painted on the inside of the entryway are looking for the pearl of great price." And she toured me through the gardens. She showed me Persian roses and floribunda roses and tea roses, which is also interesting because my middle name is Rose. So there was no not knowing that this was meant to be. So through that, I sold that house 5 years later for more than double what I paid for it. And I was leaving my marriage, and it gave me the freedom to make that choice, to make a change in my life. And I'm really grateful that I have Spirit guiding me, because from that dream in November 1996 to 2000, June of 2000, and then I went traveling, and I did all of that, but just bear with me 1 second. I just wanted to add, I know I might go over a moment, but I hope not too much. I wanted to talk about my mother and her faith, because she was a great example of faith to me. In the spring of 1998, she had her second triple bypass in the Saskatoon University Hospital. And 6 months later, when I visited her, she said, "I died." And I was like, I was only like 32. I was like, "What? You died? But you didn't die, and you're here." That's all I was scared about. And so in May of 1989, I went out to visit her again. And I had my 2 little children with me. And I admitted her the day before in the hospital. And I had set my children on the hospital room's windowsill because they were deep. And I'd sat them there. And I was standing there when her friend walked into the room and sat down beside my mother's bed. And my mom said, "I'm going to die." All excited. And I said, just, "No, Mom, no." But she continued on with her talking to her friend. And it was, wow, she died 2 days later. But recently I read a book about a woman who had a near-death experience. And she described this bliss, this heavenly experience, before she was told she had to come back. And I realized now that my mother was overjoyed that she was going home. And Spirit had taken her briefly to show her what she had to look forward to. And she was ready to go. I have her Bible. It's worn around the edges from the years of use. Sitting down and opening on my lap, I feel the love of her pouring through those pages. I could not scientifically explain why this generates this feeling of love when I'm there. But it is what is left in those pages between that leather cover. And I would like to leave you with this prayer. Source, Creator, God, Goddess, all that is, Abba. I am ready to be what you created me to be. I choose to remember that I am effect and not cause. Thy will be done. Knowing that your will is my full happiness. Reveal then that path which that happiness can be known. For my way has never worked, but your way always has. Thank you.
So we'll take Pearl's beautiful words
Who I am. I remember, I remember, I remember who I am. I remember who you are. I remember who you are. I remember, I remember, I remember who you are. We remember who we are. We remember who we are. We remember, we remember, we remember who we are.
And I invite you to take a deep breath in and let it go. Letting go of any thoughts of what's going on outside. Rises to that level of unconditional love. It moves through your body. Every cell in your body begins to vibrate at this rate of unconditional love. It expands further until it encompasses your entire body. And in this place, you remember who you are. You remember that you are love. You are peace. You are joy. And in this place of unconditional love of who you are, you connect to your own inner wisdom. which is fueled by Spirit, by Goddess, by God, by whatever name resonates for you. And this connection can never be broken. Not by any outside circumstance or person or thought. The only question is, are you ready to listen? Are you ready to have the courage for whatever it is you're being called to? In this place of unconditional love connected to your inner wisdom, I invite you to take a moment to listen, to open your heart and hear and know. And be grateful for the message, the intuition, the guidance that you receive. For we are each playing our own role in the Great Awakening. The spiritual awakening of humanity and our planet. Remember who you are. You are love. You are peace. You are joy. And remember that as you answer the call, as you follow that guidance, the universe races in to support you in ways that you can't even imagine. And it's up to us to take the first step, to step in faith, knowing and trusting. I invite you to feel your connection to your higher self, to God, the universe, Goddess, source of all. And know without a shadow of a doubt that you are not alone. For we are in unity. And our hearts are joined as one. And Taking in a deep breath now, bringing your awareness back to the room, knowing that this place of peace and love exists within you always, and all you need to do is tune into it in order to go there and experience it once again. Remember who you are.
I remember who I am. I remember, I remember, I remember who I am. I remember who you are. I remember who you are. I remember, I remember, I remember who you are. We remember who we are. We remember who we are. We remember, we remember, we remember who we are. And I'm lost and I'm caught in the throes. It's the one thing my mind needs the most. It's the whisper within, saying rise once again. It's the flickering ember of hope. When I can't bring my heart to its feet, and I've lost touch with all I believe. It's the only hope left. When the ropes round my neck, it's the gift in the gift of my grief. Give me faith to let go, to admit that I'm not in control. Give me faith to believe that my life has a plan I can't see. Give me just enough hope so I'll know I can cope with whatever the world throws my way. Give me faith. We are thrust into life born of love, but our burdens emerge in the love. And the voice from afar saying love you are isn't heard when a push comes to shove. Oh, our lives are so short as it is, yet we're lost for so long while we live. And so often we doubt what our lives are about. We don't trust what we know within. let go, to admit that we're not in control. Give us faith to believe that our lives have a plan we can't see. Give us just enough hope so we'll know we can cope whatever the world throws our way. Give us faith, give us faith, give us faith. And when I'm left this world, please remember in the songs I've left and the dreams I've dreamed. Whatever may come, remember to love and know there's a plan to help you find the faith to let go, to admit that you're not in control, and the faith to believe that your life has a plan you can't see. I'll be sending you hope, 'cause I know you can cope with whatever this world throws your way. If you'll just let go and have faith, faith, and love. Thank you to the band.
Damn you, Anthony. I just got myself back together. Oh, and that's it, isn't it? It's faith. Pearl, thank you so much for the beautiful stories. Isn't it wonderful to hear everyone's stories? And then when I do, it's like, well, of course we're all connected. Of course we're guided. And it wasn't until after I said yes to my leaving that I remembered all of these things in my life that have happened that have pulled me towards this. That starting from when I was a teenager, when I knew nothing about spirituality or anything, that I already was feeling called at that point, and the calling has grown stronger. And now I look back at all the different things and how they all just lined up, right? Even when I didn't know, it was part of it. It was part of it. So thank you for that beautiful, beautiful reminder. And I should also say that in addition to all the amazing talents that you heard Pearl talk about, she is a beautiful artist, author, and speaker. And Anthony and the band, I think we need to have a live concert that is recorded so that we can get this music out into the world. Faster than what's been happening. So, okay. Although it looks like everything is falling apart, it's okay. Our lives, when we have a spiritual awakening, our lives fall apart. That's how it works. Our world is having a spiritual awakening. It is falling apart at the seams, and people are afraid, right? But we know the path. We know the route. We have to hold the love and hold the line, because that's what we've been practicing all these years. We've been preparing and practicing for this moment when we can be the love and show the way. All right. I'll step down off my soapbox now. I didn't plan to say any of that. But hey, I stopped crying, so there we go. That's a bonus. So, I'm completely lost. Where are we? Oh yeah, love offering. Oh yes. Together, using our time, our talent, our treasure, we come to this place where we can inspire and be who we are. There's a donation basket at the back of the room. You can also donate by sending an e-transfer to donate@unityofcalgary.org, or sending in your check the old-fashioned way. We still have checks so far, so you can still do that. So I invite you to stand, and together we'll sing our offering song, Give with an Open Heart.
Grateful for this moment. I am grateful for my life. And I trust that a higher power will always be there to provide. That's why I give with an open heart. That's why I give with an open heart. Well, I place my faith in the Spirit, and I welcome each and every day. And I let go of all my troubles and worries, but new abundance always comes my way. And that's why I give with an open heart. That's why I give with an open heart. Well, I think you'll remember who I am and who I've always been. And as I give with a wide open heart, I know this home will always be there for me. And that's why I give with an open heart. That's why I give with an open heart. Yeah, I'm gonna give with an open heart. Yeah, I'm gonna give with an open heart.
Screen? Oh, good. Good morning. And it's been a fantastic morning for me. Thank you ever so much. You have stirred a spirit within me that's just unbelievable. Now, let's all come together and bless this offering. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you. And Susan, distance is like a golden chain that's beaten to fire. The Spirit lights it.
All right, so you can sit down for a moment as we have our blessing for the children. None in this room with us this morning, but the beautiful children of the... Oh! Stella! Of course we have beautiful Stella here with us this morning. Beautiful Stella, the children of the world, and our very own dear inner children. I invite you to affirm with me. We love you, we bless you, and we appreciate you just the way you are. And let us now pause for a moment of prayer, bringing to awareness anything that we are ready to release from our mind, from our heart. Turning it over to Spirit, we know that it opens the way for abundant blessings to unfold. There's prayer requests if you are here in this room, and if you're not, you can go to our website, and there's a place where you can submit your prayer. Or you can email prayer@unityofcalgary.org. Know that your prayers are held in love by our prayer team here for 30 days, and they're also held in love by Silent Unity in the States for 30 days. And if you're needing urgent prayer support for whatever's going on, you can always call the Silent Unity Help Prayer Line at 1-800-NOW-PRAY. We also hold in love the other Unity communities across Canada. And this month we hold in prayer Unity Church of Agape in Scarborough and Unity of Montreal. We see them having the love and support they need to continue cultivating the consciousness and bringing the message of unity across our country. So taking a moment just to mentally go within and imagine that you are putting your prayers into the box. Knowing that it is already done. So please join me in affirming the prayer of protection out loud together. The light that is God surrounds me. I am the light. The love that is God enfolds me. I am the love. The power that is God protects me. I am the power. The presence that is God watches over me. I am the presence. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. And so it is. Amen. And now I invite you to stand, and together we will sing once again. And I think Anthony has a few people to welcome.
What's that?
Do you have people to welcome?
I do, yeah. Let's all take a moment and let's say ho, say ho to people who are high. Let's say hi to people who are at home, our members of our community who are at home. Flo, Shona, Chris, Adele, Lorraine, Wayne, Sarah, Rhonda, Brenda, and Janice. Let's all say hello to everybody at home.
Howdy, howdy.
Let's take a moment to say a prayer for Susan. As she goes away for 4 months, she's going to be in paradise over the dark winter. And let's wish her the best and say a prayer for her, and also a prayer that she comes back to us in March. So, thank you so much for everything. Like everything that she has done over the years. This community wouldn't exist if it wasn't for her stepping in when things were falling apart and putting the pieces back together. So we honestly owe you everything. Pearl, did you want to say something? You come to the mic. Yep.
Just everyone, would you please join me in closing your eyes? And let's just see taking care care of her, and that our love is always with her, that she holds that through all of what this new adventure is taking her to, because it's going to be exciting and it's going to be wonderful. And we just bless her. We send, all of us in this room, send that blessing to her, holding her in that beautiful place, because she has been a great inspiration to everyone here, of holding on and keeping things rolling, and the insight, following her insight to make things happen. That's a great spirit, and we're grateful for you.
On my own I am only one. With your voice I can do much more. So I let go and I'm not alone. You appear and lead me home. Sing through me. Sing through me. Use my voice, Spirit, won't you sing through me? Behind my walls I can feel so strong. With your love I can open up. I let go and I'm not alone. You were here and I fall into your arms. Love through me. Love through me. Use my heart, Spirit, won't you love all around? There is so much hurt. With your power we can heal our world. We let go and we're not alone. You appear and you heal us all. Heal through me. Heal through me. Use my life, Spirit, won't you heal through me? Sing through me. Sing through me. Use my voice, Spirit, won't you sing love through me. Heal through me. Sing
All right. Well, thank you so much, Anthony and Pearl, for that beautiful prayer. And Anthony, of course, couldn't have done it without you and couldn't have done it without all of you. We all create this spiritual community together. So I invite you now to create a circle on the outside and hold your own heart in love as we send a wave of peace out into the world and sing, "Let there be peace."
peace that was meant to be.
Have a beautiful, beautiful week, and remember who you are. And stay for potluck.
We live in a world that struggles between what is and what could be. And the only way to change this is the choices that we make. 'Cause we've all been given power to choose what our lives will need. The Lord is waiting for us to set that power free. We can be heroes. We can be heroes in our lives. We can scale the tallest problems with the power of our minds. We can be heroes. We have the power to decide if we're willing to take action. We can be heroes in our lives. Live in a world of plenty. Millions go without. But if we follow our compassion, we can change that here and now. 'Cause we've all been given the power to choose what our lives will be. The world is waiting for us to set that power free. We can be heroes. We can be heroes in our lives. We can scale the tallest problems with the power of our minds. We can be heroes. We have the power to decide if we're willing to take action. We can be heroes in our lives. It's now or never. Gotta make the choice today. Are you gonna hide the gifts God gave, or will you give your gifts away? 'Cause we can be heroes. We can be heroes in our lives. We can scale the tallest problems with the power of our minds. We can be heroes. We have the power to decide if we're willing to take action. We can be heroes